everyone. I'm Dana Lewison, therapist and founder of the Empowerment Collective.
And I'm Dr. Roshni Patel, board certified gynecologist and menopause practitioner. And today we are talking about sleep, why women, especially moms, aren't sleeping, and what your body, your hormones, and your brain really need in order to rest.
And today we're also going to give you our take two and call me in the morning, which is where we give you our favorite two tips that we discussed today that hopefully will help you get a little bit better sleep.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, I love this discussion. I love talking about sleep. My clients know I talk about it all the time with them. And I was even lecturing, sorry, Dad, I was even lecturing my father at Thanksgiving all about sleep hygiene. Roshi, do you remember the last time that you consistently had some good nights of sleep?
It has been a while. I'll have a good run every now and then, like maybe 7 to 10 days where I'm like, "Oh my god, I didn't wake up in the middle of the night and none of my kids woke me up." But then I'll have like a bad couple of days. Like last night both kids woke me up. They took turns having nightmares, at least they took turns. Um
Yeah. Yeah.
so yes, it's been a while, but it's not a new conversation, right? Like women in my life, my friends, patients, the majority will report, even when not asked, that they're not getting good sleep. There are tons of reports and surveys and information out there that also confirms this, that women are having problems with sleep or experiencing poor sleep, and a lot of time that's happening in our midlife time, right? 40s, 50s and beyond.
Right.
So it's an issue for sure.
Yeah. Certainly around, perimenopause, menopause. But even you made such a good point about you might be sleeping well, but then if you have young kids and they're coming in, I know my little guy last night, like it was just as I was falling asleep and you hear the footsteps that are coming towards the
Yep.
door and you're like, shoot, here we go.
Yeah.
And he was just coming in to be like, I just want everyone to know I forgot to go plug in my Chromebook because at school now they give them Chromebooks. Forgot to go plug it in. I'm going to go downstairs and plug it in and charge it. Okay. Thanks, kid. I really appreciate you interrupting my sleep cycle to tell me
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Um,
Damn
but
it.
certainly, yeah, right. Certainly, like the nightmares and such, it's going
Yeah,
to interrupt
it's
your
gonna
sleep
happen.
and it's going to happen. So, even if you are sleeping well, but certainly, you got to a point where you're not sleeping well for so many other
Yep.
reasons. But we need sleep. Sleep is so important. So, I think before we get to talking about all the strategies to help us sleep better, I think it's important that we talk about what is physiologically and psychologically happening
Mhm.
in our bodies that decrease our sleep. And so I'm going to nerd out for a minute because the first thing I always talk about when sleep comes up is this study came out in about 2013. I think it was such a important study to me at the time because I had just had my older son. He was about a year old and I was still not sleeping great. But every time people talk about losing sleep, whether it's woman in
Yep,
perimenopause or even a new mom who's not sleeping great and is
yep.
feeling crazy. And I'm like, this is why. Just understand this. So they were treating clients with depression. And instead of just treating these individuals with antidepressants or looking at the symptoms of depression, they went, you know what? Everyone talks about insomnia. Let's also, in addition to giving them antidepressants, let's treat insomnia
Mhm.
not as a symptom of, but as an individual issue. And did cognitive behavioral therapy focusing on insomnia, different talk therapy strategies
Sure.
focusing on insomnia. And they found that insomnia went away
Mhm.
and people's depression decreased or went away
Right.
as much as was reported when people started taking Prozac when it was invented. That's
That's
huge.
amazing. That's
It's
amazing.
huge. And so what they showed us through this cluster of studies is basically we can't look at insomnia as just a symptom. Like people are
Mhm.
depressed and therefore they're not sleeping. But maybe it's also the other way around. People aren't sleeping great, and that's either adding to their already the symptoms of depression or adding
Mhm.
to their depression, or perhaps it's even causing depression.
Yeah.
So we need to treat the insomnia.
Yeah. Totally great to point out, and I think even since then, there's been a lot of conversation on the how important sleep is, and it's not just like just insomnia or sleep disturbance, life adjustment. I think all those things kind of live on a spectrum. And using sleep as sleep treatment to help treat other things is so powerful. It goes down to basic human stuff, right? Sleep is a
Right.
superpower. And we've always kind of known this. I remember my parents saying, like, oh, you'll feel better in the morning, like if you're sick or you got, whatever, you got sent home early from school. And there's been this historical understanding that sleep is important. But now our culture is in this work, 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 produce, produce, like must
Yeah.
work, capitalism. I don't know what it is. It's by a whole host of things, but poor sleep and, oh, I only sleep 5 hours or 6 hours. I don't know. It's become this martyrdom thing. But I think we know in our bones that sleep is important. All these studies coming out treating sleep specifically only, compound that. So it's interesting that even though we know it's so important, it just doesn't always happen.
And I think a lot of people don't make it a
Yeah.
priority. And of course, we're going to get into later, what should people do? How, and it's not hard. That's the thing.
Right.
It's these tiny changes that we can make to get better sleep actually don't have to be so difficult. But given that it's so important, what goes awry? What is making it difficult? What is
Yeah.
happening in our bodies?
So there's a few physiological things that actually happen to women. Our conversation is geared toward women, so I'm going to
Right.
focus on the ladies,
Yes.
especially in
Please.
midlife, right? In perimenopause and menopause. And yes, as a caregiver in women's health, I see it all with my new moms time and time again. I talk about sleep hygiene, rotating shifts with a newborn until you can get on a sleep schedule, all the things. But in the midlife space, you know, you've made all that course correction, or you're in midlife and you don't have children or whatever the case may be, there are things still happening in our bodies. And we touched on this a little bit before, like lifestyle and culture. We're the sandwich generation sometimes,
Yeah.
even though we don't have newborns, our kids might come into, I need to charge this, or can you sign my slip? Or like, where's my phone? It's like, it's your phone, find it, right?
Right.
And that very human primal need of sleep, it gets really deprioritized. We're okay at making sure we eat and go to the bathroom. I don't know why sleep got shafted in that,
Yeah.
but specifically hormonal changes are involved in the quality of our sleep, right? So when our estrogen and progesterone kind of fluctuate or decrease, that can impact the quality of our sleep cycles. Some women will experience, hot flashes, temperature imbalances during sleep or during the daytime, and that can impact their sleep. Things like anxiety, depression, sleep, as we talked about, they all kind of tie in together, and they're distinct entities that sometimes need their own treatment. And once they're treated, they can help the other thing. And so if we're thinking about good sleep or healthy sleep as a superpower, we do need to be mindful of what happens when we don't get good sleep, right? Like you can't tell your hormones what to do, but if you are, not sleeping well consistently, or you do suffer from insomnia, that could affect your cycles, right?
Yeah.
It could affect your mood, your mental health, your clarity of thought, your cognitive processing, right? Brain fog. We talk about that all the time. Memory. I am so forgetful after a couple nights of sleep. Like I remember when I would take call consistently, I don't even know how I would get home. I drove. I didn't crash my car, but like it's muscle memory. Like I just blast the AC, roll all the windows down so I can just not fall asleep behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And also when we're not sleeping and there's more information coming out now, or that we're kind of in tune to now, about how poor sleep can impact weight, especially like folks who are trying to lose weight, your
Mhm.
immune system, cardiovascular risk, metabolic risk. It's a big deal.
No, we need to be protecting sleep,
Yeah,
like, at all costs, right? Like,
absolutely.
everything we're knowing. Even you're talking about, forgetfulness and
Yep.
brain fog. I mean, these are symptoms that we're complaining about anyway
Yes.
in midlife.
Yeah.
So just adding to it and making it worse doesn't sound like that's a great course of action, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And
we have a choice in the matter. Let's choose to make
choose
healthier.
sleep.
Right.
Choose sleep. And
Sleep.
it doesn't have to be perfect every night, 365 days a year. That's not
Right.
realistic. You're going to have bad nights. You're going to have travel. You're going to be sick.
Right.
But as much as you can, I hate to say it, we got to be selfish
We do. And,
with our sleep.
I want to say something here too, because yes, there's the hormonal piece, and
Hmm.
we'll talk about that and get into it. But there's also this piece, and I get it, right? Like the kids go to bed and it's quiet.
Mhm.
And then sometimes my husband goes to bed and it's really quiet. And all I want to do is sit on that sofa and watch a TV show and scroll on my phone. And that is my time. Because some
Yeah.
days you don't have any time
Oh, yeah.
and that's it. Right. But then you're staying up later and later and later, and your kids are still getting up at the same time in the
Oh,
morning.
yeah.
Right? Like
Oh, yeah.
work still happens
Oh,
or the
yeah.
babies still happen or school still happens. There's still
Mhm.
that need. So you're pushing that time back, back, back. You're not actually, yes, I enjoy that time, but you then regret it in the
There's a
morning.
cost.
Right. There's such a cost of it. And you don't then get to let me, make up for it on the weekend. It doesn't work that
Oh,
way. So
that's yeah. That's
you're
not gonna
just
happen.
exhausted. So I just want to like call out the difference here of what when we say protecting your sleep, that yes, there are going to be actual like insomnia and physiological issues where sleep is extra challenging. But when you're just pushing it and making your life
Yeah, you're
harder on
sabotaging
your own,
yourself.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that, we got to cut that out because that's
Yeah.
just you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, and I get it. You have to find that me time. Not everyone has the opportunity to do that during the workday. To sit down on the couch at the end of the day, like so many women talk about this, it's
Hmm.
just their time to decompress. And
Right.
I get that. It's just that the phone and the TV, I don't know if it's actually helping
Yeah.
the quality of sleep. And that kind of brings us to another point we wanted to talk about that yeah, you were sharing actually
Yes.
about the blue light and the red light.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
one of the things that, and I always talk about this with my clients, is that blue light in general, right? Your phone, scrolling on them. Yes, I do it too, right? It's like
Yeah.
so easy to in bed, right? Before bed, it's like, oh, this is so nice and
I did a whole bunch
so
trying to
much
Black Friday
information,
shop.
right? Right. Like we're like, oh, this is so easy.
Yeah.
Um, the blue light that you're getting from phones, that blue light you're getting from TVs, your brain has not evolved, right? Our brains have not, not just yours, everybody, all of ours, our brains have not evolved enough for us to know that that is not like daylight
Mhm.
saying, wake up.
Yeah.
And when our brains say, wake up, it releases a little bit of cortisol because cortisol is what our brains release in the morning for us to wake up a little. But cortisol is also what our brain releases in fight or flight. It's what
Yeah,
our
it's
brain
a
releases
stress.
when we feel anxious and stressed. So, your brain at night, when you're supposed to relax and supposed to sleep,
Yeah.
is getting messages, stress and wake up, which
Yeah.
are the two opposite things of what we want to actually feel when we're falling asleep. Something that I've read or I've seen is like you can change the settings on your phone to be red light.
Yep.
Guess what, people? Red light also increases your cortisol levels.
Mm,
Cut it out.
yeah.
One of the things that I was researching just to prepare for this was looking at different types of light. And one of the things I came across, which I did not know, and I think it is fascinating
Ooh, I
about
love it.
blue light, is that it also
Mm,
suppresses melatonin in your body. Guys, melatonin is what helps you go to sleep. Some of you take extra melatonin to help you sleep.
yeah, as you're scrolling.
Right. You're like, oh, I can't create it in my own body because I'm on a phone. So I'm going to take extra. But you're
Yeah.
scrolling. So it's not going to work. You
Nope.
are suppressing it. So we need to get rid of all screens at least an hour before bed. I know that's really hard. I say to people, at least do 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, start
But even if
there.
you put it down and like brush your teeth and wash your face and get on your pajamas, that's like 30 minutes, right? I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
take your
I'm really slow,
time.
but
Yeah. But that is a more calming ritual. Like, use a fancy lotion. I started lighting a
yeah.
candle in my bathroom at night, like a coconut
Oh,
fragrance. I'm like, it's just little, that's my me time.
that
That's what I do.
is right. I mean, go back to our self-care episode,
Yeah.
ladies. Go back and listen. But right, like I mean, I brought it in here to share. Like I have
Ooh.
my nice bougie signature body lotion, rosemary mint.
Oh,
Ooh.
I like that.
I'm like, I'll get in bed, put that on your hands and just,
Yeah.
you know,
Have a moment.
have right, like just breathe. There's like lavender sprays you can spray on your
Mhm.
pillow. The things that are calming, putting something that literally is sending messages to your brain that you're
Yeah.
supposed to be in anxiety mode.
Yeah. The
That's
the light is one piece of it, but what you're saying is like, why am I on the phone? I'm shopping, I'm checking my
right.
calendar. Listen, tomorrow's gonna happen anyway. I will deal with it in the morning. Like we're kind of doing it to ourselves. And the phone piece kinda cracks me up because true life, my husband will not put the phone down. He will scroll and scroll in bed, and it kinda drives me nuts, and there are some nights where I will sleep somewhere else because 'cause I'm like, "No, this is my time," and he kinda, laughs at me because I really try to get 8 hours. I could get 7, but I really tried for 8, and he does his sleep differently, and that's the other thing, folks. You gotta do what works for you, especially
Yeah.
when you're trying to reestablish some good sleep hygiene, and a lot of us know what we need to do, right? You need a consistent schedule, even on the weekends.
Yes.
Patients always fight me on this. They're like, "Oh, I wanna sleep in." I'm not saying no, but, like, an hour-ish, that's what's healthy for your brain. You need a good wind down. You like fancy lotion, fancy candles, look, whatever. Get yourself nice pajamas. Make it such a production that look forward to that. Screen we should limit, but also like caffeine and beverages and
Yes.
alcohol, right? That's going to make you wake up in the night and pee. Alcohol is just, listen, I like myself a glass of red wine every now and then, but it's gonna wreak havoc on your sleep, and if you're a woman that already suffers from hot flashes, alcohol will make it worse. The way alcohol is metabolized, it makes your hot flashes worse. So sorry, that's just physiology. Cool, dark bedroom. We invested in blackout curtains for
Yeah.
this purpose. We sleep with sound machines every night. Like, I travel with one because now I can't sleep without it, and I sleep really well when I have my sound machine.
Yes, we call them
Um
sound noisers in my
Mm,
home because
okay.
that's what my son called them when he was little, a sound
Oh,
noiser. So we
that's
have
so
sound
cute.
noisers.
Yeah. And now how old is he now?
13.
Yeah,
They
so
actually don't sleep with them anymore, which is
okay.
weird. Like, slowly, everyone kinda
They
started
phase out.
turning them
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
and we don't sleep with anymore, but we always sleep with our fan on, which is white noise within
Yeah.
itself. But in the middle of winter, we have the heat off, basically the AC on, the fans going,
Yeah.
because we sleep warm. I sleep warm certainly
Yeah.
now, but same thing. It's like, again, whatever you have to do to you protect your sleep
Protect
at
your sleep.
all
Protect
costs.
it. Yeah. And sometimes it's really painful. It's one of 2 ways, right? You can make those small changes instead of putting your phone down an hour. Can you do 30 minutes? Can you do 15? So some folks need that gradual whatever, and then some people need like cold turkey. You're not working every day, right? So pick a long weekend or pick a week like a Thursday to Sunday where you can really dial into your sleep and set up some good habits. Pick one habit and get good at it, right? Because you can't change your whole life overnight. But, I think you got to pick your approach and decide if you want sleep to be a priority. And then, like, what work are you willing to do to achieve
Right.
good sleep?
Right,
Yeah.
and what do you put in place of? I think
Yeah.
that's what, my clients will say, "Well, okay, if I'm not on my phone, what am I allowed to do?"
Read.
Read, right? Read, listen to music, do a meditation.
Hmm.
You don't actually have to spend money on
Yeah.
anything, right? Like, go to the library, Google meditation.
Yeah. There's free
There's
apps.
there's free apps for
Yeah.
everything. I use my Kindle, I have audiobooks I'll do sometimes. But I know for me, once it became a routine, I actually can't fall asleep now without reading. It doesn't
Mm.
matter if I've been out late, I'm out, book club is not like crazy,
Yeah.
crazy night, but I'll come home late from book club. It doesn't matter. I'll get in bed. Everyone's still sleeping. I still have to get in and read, and
Yeah.
I'll go under the covers. I have a Kindle, so it's white light, guys, a little different,
Yep.
and it's not backlit. Things that are backlit is where the blue light is.
Yeah.
Kindles, they have the white light, and it comes in from the sides. So just as a separate aside. But I'll do that. I'll go under the covers. So I don't wake my husband because I don't want to interrupt his sleep
Yeah.
because then he's cranky and that makes me cranky. So I'll, take my buck. But whatever you have to do
Yeah.
to make sure that you're getting good night's sleep, for me, that's important. Another thing that's important for me is when I do wake up in the middle of the night, I do not want to know what time it is because that
Oh,
psychs me
yes.
out. I do
Yes.
not have a clock on my nightstand. I
Great.
got rid of a clock once upon a time when I did go through insomnia. I will not look at a clock. My phone, I have it so it's just like blacked out so I can't see anything.
Good.
That is something that freaks me out because you look at it and you're like, either, oh, it's 2 a.m. God, I still have to make it through the rest of the night. Or it's like, oh, it's 5:30 and I have to be up in 30 minutes. I only have
Yeah.
30 minutes left. And, oh, it's, or not even.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like 4:30 and you're like, oh,
Oh,
shoot,
that's the worst. The 4
I
to
have
6
to.
wake up where you could have slept more,
Yeah.
it's
That was
painful.
me this morning with a hot flash. I'm like,
Ugh.
Oh my god, I'm, like, in a sauna, like, stripping clothes of work. I don't know. Actually didn't look at the clock, but judging on the amount of light that was coming in, I was like, "It's a little bit of light, but it's not totally pitch black. What
Yeah.
time is it?" Oh,
That's a good
stripping
point. I
clothes.
think a lot of women will then look at the phone and then go into that, like, overthinking rumination, like, "Okay, well, if I wake up now, I can get the lunches done. I can get to that meeting. I did it." No, stop. Like,
Right.
just shut it down.
Yeah, and I used to do
Focus
the, like,
on
it's,
yeah,
"Oh, only 5 hours of sleep," or, "I'm only gonna get this many hours of sleep,"
right.
and it would psych me out.
That's another thing, the psyching out. Like, we've got the Aura Ring and the sleep health app and the this, that. If those devices are gonna throw you into overwhelm, overboard, anxiety, they're not for you. They're really not. They're supposed to be tools to help you identify patterns or things that work or don't work for you, but my husband, same thing. He'll be like, "Oh, my sleep score is like 70," or I'm like, "What?"
I don't even know what that means.
I don't
What
even
is
know
it
that
judging?
who
What is
I
the
don't know
sleep
who
score?
decided because Apple will be tell my iPhone will say, "Oh, you got a good night's sleep." I'm like, "I was up since 2 AM." I don't right, so you gotta trust your body. Like,
Yeah.
no Ring device, the Whoop. There's so many things out there, and I know a lot of people bought a lot of these things, right? Because it was Black Friday and the holidays and the sales, and you wanna gift it to people. That's fine, I'm not saying that they're bad, we just need to be careful how we use them.
Yes.
Um,
That is such a
yeah,
good point. That
yeah.
is such a good point. I would say I could not. I can't use any of
I
those
don't do it.
things.
Yeah.
I don't wanna know. It's like when people have like, "Oh, my heart rate is" no, I
What
don't
do you
wanna know
what
what my heart rate is. I don't want I'm alive, I'm living, I'm walking, I'm breathing.
right.
No,
And
thank
then it,
you.
like, affects your whole day. So if my husband sees a bad sleep score, I'm like, how do you feel? Like, you feel good? Like, we're eating breakfast, having coffee. Like, are you gonna let this give you a bad day because like one data point is I don't know. I don't think it's that helpful. And the other thing is when we're talking about sleep, the boring stuff is what works, right? The routines and, prioritizing sleep. That's the hard stuff. The apps and devices can help. Another thing is supplements.
Ugh,
Yeah,
yeah.
here we go. You don't need them. You don't need them. Because women will all the time. They've got a laundry list of supplements, and supplements in general is like its own topic. And I think we touched on it in a previous episode about regulation and safety and all that stuff. But melatonin, Benadryl, women are prescribed. Half of the women I see who complain about sleep are prescribed benzodiazepines that I don't think have a real good place in sleep treatment.
They're
Benadryl's
addictive too, right? Like,
yes,
you're
thank
not
you.
supposed to take them
Yeah, and there are real
indefinitely.
medications for, individuals that have true insomnia, right? Like, there are criteria, there are you need to get evaluated, you need to talk about your sleep, but if you're not quite there yet and you're having poor sleep, which I think a lot of women are, they'll take things like melatonin. Melatonin can be
Mhm.
helpful.
Yeah.
It's really good for, like, shift workers, people who work night shift sometimes. It's really good if you're traveling in different time zones and you wanna kinda get on the right schedule. If you're needing to use it every night, I don't know, maybe, like, let's look at what's going on in your life that maybe you can pull that back and make some shift there. I don't think Benadryl really works. I think it can work for a night or 2 if you're really in a jam, but it will
Bene
backfire.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and Benadryl can also have the opposite effect on
Rebound.
people
Yeah. Yeah.
too, right? Like, we can make you, like, hyper
It can.
anxious
That's
and
why for kids,
uncomfortable.
yeah, I really, we have to be careful when you're using it for kids, when you have kids that don't sleep well. I know parents, gosh, they try so hard. Talk to your pediatrician. It is really important. You don't want to expose your child to something that's not safe for them, even though you want to sleep. I
Yeah.
get it. I'm in there with you. There are forms of magnesium out there. One of them is magnesium glycinate. There's some information to suggest that this form of magnesium can help with like relaxation. But it's not such a strong link where I can say, okay, take magnesium glycinate, you will sleep. It's more about what kind of habit taking magnesium glycinate can help you with, right? If you become that person who, okay, 9:30, phone is down. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna wear these awesome pajamas. I'm gonna take my magnesium. I'm gonna read my Kindle. Like, right? If it's part of your sleep hygiene routine,
Mhm.
great. I'm all for it. But I'm not gonna say, oh, only magnesium equals good sleep. You can ignore everything else. No, it's
Right.
not, that simple.
Like anything's a one size
Yeah.
fits all. right? And listen, with the melatonin, I know lots of people that do take it.
Mhm.
And I think people are also so afraid that when you find something that works to give it up because
Yeah.
like we said, sleep is important, protected at all costs. And I think we have to try different things and, like you said, take a long weekend, give it a shot, try it, but always talk to your doctor about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're giving advice here about like things that we know or have worked for us or our patients, but always talk to your doctor about what works for you or doesn't
Yeah.
work for you to come up with other ideas or such. But any of these things, it's not a one size fits all. If you
Mhm.
are taking melatonin, you also need to have that good sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
Like we talked about with the blue light, you're going to be, doesn't matter how much you put in your body if you're suppressing it, right? Or the magnesium might be great, but all right, if you're up all night, it doesn't matter what you put in your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing
Um,
too with the melatonin, I just want to add
yeah.
is like there's all those articles that came out in the last couple of years about the dosages of like what's actually in the medication that you're taking and that
Like the
the labeling
supplements,
is
they're
wrong.
not regulated the same way an
Yeah,
FDA approved product is, and that goes back to, like, we gotta be careful about our supplements,
right.
and especially when you're getting melatonin from these companies. It's one thing to, like, walk into CVS and get, like, CVS brand or Up& and Up brand, melatonin, but there's these fancy vitamin companies
Yeah,
that will upsell you because, like, "Oh, it's sustainable packaging and, blah, blah, blah." And who knows what they're actually doing?
right. Or
They're
what's
not
even in
helping you.
it.
Yeah, they're not they could be like baking soda.
Right.
It could be. How do I don't know.
Snake
I
oil.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that because there is profit in that, there will always be snake oil and
Yeah.
someone willing to push it. But the CBT piece, cognitive behavioral therapy piece, I think is super huge, very underutilized. Can you speak to that a little bit, like in the therapy world? Like how do you help folks?
Yeah, no, I listen, I work with a lot of people who come and they're like, I'm not sleeping. And
Yeah.
I will say that the majority of the people that come to me who aren't sleeping, it's about anxiety and it's about just bad, like poor sleep hygiene.
Mhm.
And once we get those things figured out, sleep usually gets back on track.
Yeah.
If someone's having like actual diagnosable insomnia, I will send them out for
Yeah,
medical treatment because
absolutely.
I'm not going to mess around with that.
Yeah.
Um, yes, we can do all sorts of behavioral work, but I do believe that sleep is so important that let's get through it
Yeah.
as quick as we can. And that's how I work. Not all therapists are like that, but I believe that, yes, we'll keep working and yes, we can do some cognitive behavioral therapy and do it all, but like, let's get some medication in your system and like get through this quickly.
Yeah.
Um, but, we'll put in different techniques, again, if it's anxiety, if
Mhm.
that's why people aren't sleeping. And people sometimes don't know they have anxiety, and that's like my favorite. I'm not really anxious. Oh, okay, well, let's talk about your day. It could just be stress that they don't
Right.
recognize
Yeah.
as anxiety, overwhelm, a busy day, watching the news, things that are just feel
Oh my gosh.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
And also to go back to that aimless scrolling,
Mhm.
when our brains are activated all of the time, even if it's that passive activation where we're
Yeah.
not really engaging, it's just scroll, 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 our brains crave it. They get
Yeah.
become addicted to that. So it's looking for that. What is it? That dopamine hit.
Dopamine
It
hit.
needs all the time. So even when we're sleeping, our sleep is going to be interrupted. It's not going to be restful sleep.
Mm.
So we might not have problems falling asleep. You might fall asleep great, but are you waking every day at 3 o'clock and wondering why?
Yep.
Is that an everyday occurrence? Are you having weird, wild dreams every night and not understanding why? Try putting the phone away, seeing how that
Yeah.
impacts it. Try doing something calming at bedtime, right? So, one thing I will talk to people about is doing either a guided meditation, if you
Okay.
like that, going on. There's like the insight timer, there's Calm app, there's different
Yeah, lots of apps.
sites you can go to and apps. You could just even go to YouTube and Google guided meditation. That's there. Or you could just do it on your own, a mindful meditation. I'll say, close your eyes, picture a place that's super relaxing and go through the senses, right? Like, what do you see? What do you taste,
Mhm.
smell? What do you feel? What do you hear? And be in that moment. And you can set a timer and do that for 10 minutes, or you could just, do it for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But the longer you do it, the more into it you're going to be.
Yeah.
Any sort of relaxation method, and that could be a whole other episode we could have, but
Yeah.
um, what are those relaxation techniques you can do to bring yourself down, bring your heart rate down, calm your brain, and get yourself ready for sleep, ready
Yeah.
for a calm state of being? And that's, and again, there's all sorts of things we do with anxiety, but that's what I'm usually seeing. And I don't know, I guess that I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think also people want, like, to the melatonin piece, like, they want to keep what works, and they might not be willing to go through the awkwardness of changing their routines, right? Like, in the beginning, like, meditation for me was, like, super awkward. I was not into it. I still don't do it consistently. I do it when I'm having, like, I'm like, "Okay, I'm like, I need to calm down." So I will
Right.
listen to a meditation app or whatever I have on my phone. And then to that point about insomnia or a true medical diagnosis or an underlying medical problem that, like, some people don't even know that they have, right? A lot of times I get to take care of women that haven't seen another physician or clinician, like they don't even have a primary or whatever. And they're talking about these symptoms or maybe they're on some medications. And I'm like, that is going to make your sleep worse. This condition is not well managed. We need to work a little bit here because if your health is not optimized, your sleep is going to be poor or could be poor. And when you chronically have poor sleep, that's going to impact your health, right? They kind of, they're in this cycle and one impacts the other. We do need to encourage women to get their health taken care of, especially if they have things like high blood pressure, COPD, sleep apnea, I
Right.
think is kind of underdiagnosed in women. I don't know. We have this like idea that it happens to like men who look a certain way. It can happen to women too who are petite and thin, for example. Theoretically, it could, right? Um, I'm using a weird example, but until you're addressing these other health issues or underlying sleep disorders, the melatonin is not going to cut it, right?
Right, right. And to that point, too, again, there's such a difference between medical issues
Hmm.
that impact sleep that, yes, we need to address that are more difficult to address. And then there's the other side of let's just get good sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? And I guess that also connects back to the question that you asked me, right? How do I address it with clients? And maybe, I don't know, is this a good time that we can discuss what is good sleep hygiene, right? We keep
Yeah.
saying that word, but to me, I guess, like, right, what I tell clients, and you touched on as well, is having that routine,
Routine.
right? What is bedtime? When does that start?
Mhm.
To me, that starts, it's before I get in bed. It's
Yeah,
not when you go to bed and put your head on the pillow. It's going to start when you're downstairs,
yeah,
right? I turn off the TV. I'm gonna, are you plugging in your phone downstairs? I plug mine in upstairs next to my bed because that's where I charge my phone.
yeah,
I do have it there. But for some people, it could be downstairs, right? Then it's all right, you go upstairs. How are you getting ready for bed? Is that when you brush your teeth? You wash your face? Do you take a shower? What is your nighttime routine? What does that look like? Keeping electronics away. Do you wear a sleep mask? Do
mhm.
you put in earplugs? I think of like the influencers that are like wrapped in all the gunk,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's a
I
little
don't do I,
much. Yeah,
what does your routine look
right, you
like?
don't need
Do
to
you
buy
pack
extra stuff. It's just, like, behavior that you can
right?
stick to.
Thing as I think about all that, because that'll
Influencer.
take way more than 30 minutes. So you
Yeah,
don't have your phone. But if you're an influencer, I guess you have to take all the pictures of yourselves. But taking that time to get yourself ready for bed and then getting in bed. Do
yeah.
you read? Do you do your meditation? Can you just do deep breathing? Listen to music?
Talk to your partner.
Talk
How
to
was your
right.
day? Like, a little
Right. But
piece
if
of
that stresses
connection.
you out,
Right, yeah, be
don't do it.
careful, yeah. So, if your partner is getting in your sleep hygiene messing up your sleep hygiene, I'm not saying it's time for a new partner, but
Right. No,
people
but it might
couples
be
sleep in different beds sometimes
that's what I was gonna say. It might be okay
for a
to
while. When
sleep
I
in a different room.
when I take call and the hospital's calling me, I sleep in the guest room. Like, I don't wanna mess up my husband's sleep.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Or certainly if your partner is sick, like the
Yeah.
second someone is sneezing, we're like,
Mm-mm, separate bed.
see ya,
Yeah.
see ya. But yeah, or I brought in here all my little sleep aids, but I have
Yeah.
my like giant thing
My
of
mom uses those.
earplugs.
Yeah.
And if he's like has a cold or isn't feeling well and he's sneezing and coughing, I don't want to be up all night hearing that.
Mm-mm. And you don't wanna get
Um,
sick.
well, that as well, but like, put those in. And when we travel, I bring them because I'm like, I don't know if you're in a hotel or wherever, you don't want to hear. Maybe you're staying in an Airbnb and like cars are going by.
Yeah,
It's a
I have
noisy
this, like, little
street.
guy, it's as big as, like, my AirPod case, a travel sound machine that has, like, multiple settings.
Oh,
I don't know, it's like $20 on Amazon. Like, not breaking the
yeah.
bank, and I'm willing to make that investment,
Yes,
in
for
my sleep
sleep.
hygiene. Yeah, it's not, a huge lift, and it's not something I need to consume. I took magnesium glycinate for a while, I still recommend it. I
I took
don't think
magnesium at one
yeah,
point.
but sometimes I forget, but, like, more importantly, I don't forget that I'm a lights out by 10 p.m.
Yeah.
kinda gal. I
Oh,
I
yeah.
I gotta do
Me
it.
too.
Um,
If I'm in bed reading at like 9:15, I am the
yeah,
happiest person. I'm
I
like
love it.
excited about it.
Yeah,
So I'm like, oh, I got like 45 minutes of reading time.
it's nice, like, your brain gets to escape and go somewhere
Mhm.
else. I think it's healthy. I mean, we talked a lot about the importance of sleep and, some medically adjacent things, some sleep hygiene. Hopefully, that's dispelling some myths that are out there. For what are some common myths that you might have heard of? Because I'm sure we've heard some funny things that people have told us. Anything you want to share?
Jeez. This is not about midlife. This was the new moms for new
Okay.
moms.
Okay.
The sleep when the baby was
Oh,
sleeping.
for crying out loud. That was the stupidest piece of advice I got.
This is the worst advice. It is literally the worst advice. Your hormones do not let you sleep when the baby is sleeping
Nope.
because you need to be awake in case the baby needs to be fed.
Yeah.
Because physiologically, before they made all these gadgets that allowed you to hear the baby in another room, if you were like, again, our bodies haven't evolved to know this. So if we're like, I don't know, in a field or in a cave and the baby's crying, we need to be able to feed the baby right away. Your
Yeah.
body does not allow you to fall asleep.
No.
So no, you cannot physiologically sleep when the
Can't do it.
baby's
I
sleeping.
mean, if you can do it, great. Like some people co-sleep and that's a
Kudos.
whole other bag of tricks. But no, in the daytime when the baby's sleeping, like I got stuff to do. Not everybody has a village.
No,
Not everybody has support and they are on their own. Even with support, at the end of the day, like you're still the mom. That's a whole other topic.
you're also hearing the baby cry when you're in the shower for
Oh yeah.
you.
We call that my husband
Like,
and I now call that phantom cry, even though my oldest is 5.
mhm,
She's
it
not a
goes,
baby.
it
Yeah,
does go.
can't wait. I'll be just like jolt out of bed. I'm like, "Who's crying?" No one is crying, but it's bizarre. A couple years ago when we stayed at my parents' house for a holiday weekend, and my daughter had cried in the middle of the night. She kinda woke up the whole house. It was okay. But my dad, after the fact, was like, "Oh, I woke up a few times because I thought I heard a baby cry." My dad's, like, 70 something years old.
Oh my
He does not
God.
have a baby in that right? But
It's
there's
horrible.
something that and it's my dad. There's something that happens. I don't know, from a primal place that we need to protect the babies.
Yeah.
So we cannot sleep when the baby
No,
sleeps.
you're not sleeping
Myth.
when the baby's sleeping. What's your meth?
The catch up on the weekends, that I think you can't, first of all. But the flip side is you can bank a little bit of sleep. A little bit. And not
Can you?
everyone can do this. So if you're flying internationally on the weekend or you're
Mm,
taking call on labor and delivery and you're going to be up all night, the
right.
couple nights before, you got to be real selfish about your sleep. Like maybe budget for 9 hours or 9 hours of quiet time, 7 to 8 you're actually sleeping. So you walk into what you know is going to be a sleep deprivation place with some buffer. But if you're chronically sleep deprived and then you try to bank sleep on the weekend, it doesn't work like that because when you're in a chronic or not even chronic, but when you haven't gotten good sleep for a while, your sleep debt is so big that it's going to take even more time to correct. So I'm not telling everyone to go bank sleep so you can, party hard on the weekends. Your physiology just might not be there. But the myth that you can catch up on the weekends, it's not true
No,
because you should
no.
be sleeping around the same amount every day. Humans didn't, we created weekends when we were
Right.
living in caves and, roaming around, you know, the Fertile Crescent. There was no,
Saber-toothed tigers
saber
did
tooth.
not
Yeah, right.
care.
Like they didn't care if it was Thursday. Oh, it's Friday night. It's TGIF. No, no.
There
It
were no days off.
there are no sick days. Um,
There were no sick days
no sick
ever.
days.
Oh, those poor women, those
Those
poor
poor women, but
gatherers.
they had help.
They did. They had a
Um,
village.
they had a village. That's all they had, though.
They did.
They didn't have phones.
No, there were no
Um,
blue lights.
oh man,
They were
some
excited about fire.
yeah, I get it.
So, all right,
Okay,
we wanna sleep like a boss.
sleep like a boss. How do we do
What's
it?
your take 2?
Um, in the same vein as the sleep hygiene, and this is how I've counseled patients for years, whether pregnant, not pregnant, kids, not kids, menopause, not every woman I talk to about sleep with, as important as your wind down routine is your wake up, the importance of your wake up routine. And I tell
Ah.
women, pick 3 consecutive easy things that you can do at home while you're traveling, at your parents' wherever you go in your life, right? People move, um, that you can reproduce anywhere you go, right? So take a shower, cozy jammies, read a book. You do that all the time at night, wherever you
Right.
are. Then on the flip side, in the morning, first of all, this is going to be controversial. Don't snooze. I know, I know. Nobody likes me.
No.
Nobody likes me. Don't snooze or like start breaking that snooze habit or shorten that snooze time. A lot of iPhones will allow you to change the amount of time because you don't want to fall back into a sleep cycle and wake up. That's just lousy for your body. So don't snooze, turn off your alarm, slowly wake up. And again, 3 consecutive predictable activities. I'm not saying don't check your phone in the morning. I'm actually saying get some light in, fresh sunlight or fresh air. Sunlight, what is that? Fresh air, sunlight, open a window, open your curtains, whatever. You know, where we live now, it's not always light when I wake up. So I'll go in the bathroom and turn on the light, brush my teeth, take a shower, whatever. And then, yes, I will get on the phone and be like, what's on my agenda today? Do I have any meetings, calls? Like, when are my patients start? That is reasonable because that is getting ready for your day. Morning, looking at the phone to get a glimpse of your day is reasonable. So my tip is your wind down routine and your wake up routine are equally important. The wind down is about powering down, and the wind up is about powering up. Like, how do you want to
Mhm.
start your day? Glass of water. The first thing I put in my body is water. I don't snooze, brush my teeth, and then, like, yeah, I'm eyeballing my schedule. Sometimes at the same time as I'm brushing, and I'm okay with that. So
I
that's my
love
tip.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. I've
Mhm.
never heard about I mean, I talk about starting your day to,
Yeah.
like, decrease anxiety for the day,
Yeah.
but not associating it as part of sleep hygiene.
It is because
I
you
love
want your
that.
brain, like melatonin secreted at night, right? Like
Right.
it comes from a part of your brain. And the same way, your circadian rhythms is not just about sleep, it's also about wake. And you
Yeah,
want high quality wake time, engagement, interaction. You want high quality wind down or sleep time.
I love that. That's fantastic. I'm gonna
Yeah.
steal that.
Steal it.
I'm gonna steal it, pretend it's mine. Just kidding. I won't.
it's
Just
it's
kidding.
it's
People are gonna know
ours.
you gave it to
It's
me.
ours. So
It's ours
what's
now.
your sleep like a boss? What's your take 2 tip for
Oh,
our
geez.
listeners?
My take 2, number 1, it's obvious, but I say it to everyone, and I said it to my dad, and I'll say it to continue to say it to everyone. Put the phone away.
Yeah.
Stop scrolling.
Put the phone away.
There's nothing for you there. That is something my husband and I we will say to each other. That's become our phrase. Put it away. There's nothing for you there. That or one of us will shout blue light, which actually my husband yelled at me last night. Blue light. It's really funny. And so put your phone away.
Yep.
And then find something healthy that feels good, that is a good for you, good for
Mm,
your brain thing to do to replace it. I love reading. I encourage people to love
yeah,
reading. If you don't think you like reading, it's because you haven't found something you enjoy reading. You haven't found an author or a book. Go to the library.
yeah,
First of all, the library. We discussed this on another
yeah,
episode.
it's free.
It's quiet and it's
Yeah,
so lovely and nice. So go talk to a librarian. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Get a whole stack of books. Doesn't
right, and you
cost.
don't need to be, like, reading, like, high intellectual read some trash,
Yeah,
read some
anything.
smutty romance.
Anything. Anything. I'm not asking for you grapes of wrath, which all I
No.
pray for you. It could be anything though. Find something you enjoy and
Unwind.
test it out. Unwind.
Yeah,
If the book is boring and it hits you in the face because you're falling asleep,
great.
that's great. That's fine too. It doesn't have to pull you in and make you want to stay up all night reading either.
Yeah,
Just find something that is calming for your brain. And you know what, guys? message us. I'm
Yeah.
happy to, I love books. I'm in multiple book clubs. I am happy to recommend book options for you.
Yeah. Questions, stories, your own experiences with sleep, ladies. Let us know,
Yes,
you know?
please
Help us
do.
help you. All right,
All right.
Dana. It's been a blast chatting with you. I'm so excited to sleep tonight.
You as well. I'm excited for this whole morning routine now. I got to figure out
It's
what my
good. I
morning looks
forgot that
like.
I've been doing it for years because I have to. I
I
have to.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, all right, everyone, until next time or until the next crisis,
Mhm.
we're going back to it, back to
Yeah.
work. Because
Back to
for
work.
us, there are
No sick days.
no sick days.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. No Sick Days is for information and education only. It is not medical or mental health treatment. Listening to this podcast does not create a medical or therapeutic relationship. Please talk to a qualified professional for care that is right for you.